Paulina Brazenak is 28 years old. She sleeps in every morning because she performs every night. To do her job, she does abdominal push-ups and handstands a half hour before her work and a half hour after her work. And in between, every hour she is awake during the day, she is doing some sort of exercise to keep in shape. She admits she's not a nervous person. She says, I perform in front of 50,000 people every week. By the time the week's over, I can't be nervous. She is the daring young woman on the flying trapeze. And she also says, all the time, I am in pain. My muscles are hurting, they're aching, they're being stretched all the time except that moment when I am in flight from one trapeze bar to the next. That moment of letting go is that moment when she is momentarily pain-free and most alive. I've been thinking a lot about letting go lately. Letting go usually isn't when I feel most alive. I'm a dad. I have a 19-year-old who is now 6'3" and now engaged, and that involves its own sort of letting go as a dad. I'm going to be turning 50 this summer, and some of you have already seen this on Facebook, but I've got this longboard, and I'm thinking of letting it go, selling it, passing it to the next. Not because 50 is old, 50 is middle age, but it could be summed up in a bumper sticker, 50 don't bounce. Life is filled with these letting go moments, and most of the time they don't exhilarate us. Most of the time they don't let us feel pain-free. And the Bible's filled with letting go moments. We just got through with some of them. Jesus' disciples letting go of Jesus as he was placed on the cross. Jesus' disciples letting go of Jesus as he was placed in the tomb. Then the sightings, but letting go of Jesus after each sighting. And the words, do not be afraid. Maybe as much for Jesus appearing as Jesus disappearing again. And today, we have this moment where the disciples are with Jesus and he's teaching, and the next thing they know, it's like he's being lifted up into the heavens and is gone from them yet again. And they are immobilized. They are standing there paralyzed. They don't know what to do next. Yet again, they have had to let go. Which brings us back to the trapeze. The first rule, I guess, of becoming a trapeze artist is, and we can change the slide here, is becoming strong and learning how to hang on. Learning how to build up calluses and to have control. And that's life, learning how to have control. It's why churches have traditions. It's why the 23rd Psalm has resonated millennia after millennia with people in their hearts. It's why Amazing Grace can be played in a parade with bagpipes, or virtuoso by a virtuoso on a grand piano, or by a grandchild kind of stumblingly on a flute, or why it can be sung graveside by a single voice and still touch the heart. Hanging on to what gives us strength and courage is what keeps us going on while we are living. It's how we keep from falling, it's how we cling to hope, but there comes a time in life when it's not about hanging on anymore. There comes a time in life when we can't hang on even if we wanted to hang on. There comes a time in life when the only way to move ahead is to let go. Slide, and it brings us to rule 2 of the trapeze artists, learning how and when to let go. Learn how and when to let go, not because we're meant to fall. Learn how and when to let go because there will be strong arms there to catch us and to lift us to a new place in our lives. During the last lunch at annual conference, I he was sitting beside a woman who apologized for having to leave conference early. Well, a little bit later, I left conference early too. But anyway, she had to leave conference early because she had to go buy flowers and little pots and dirt. And then she said, because our church has a ministry on Friday nights. One Friday night each month, we gather, and this week the activity is going to be potting plants in the church. And we're going to lay out tarps. And I told her, Stephanie and Mackenzie aren't here, but I told her Stephanie and Mackenzie's secret. Forget the tarps, get these little plastic pools and put the dirt in there and let the kids work around in the little plastic pools. And she said, you know, I've got one more stop on my list now. I've got to stop at Walmart and pick up some plastic pools. I love that idea. But they have a ministry at their church that they started. They have a lot of teachers in their church. And she said, I need to tell you, I'm not one of those teachers. But the teachers notice that parents with autistic children get tired at times. They have a 24/7 job. And they thought, what if one Sunday a month, not one Sunday, one Friday a month, one Friday night for 4 hours, they said to any parents who had an autistic child, bring your child by the church. We are going to have people trained to care for your child for 4 hours. You can stay here, and some of them do, and talk with each other and form a support group. You can go do what you need to do. You can go out for supper. She said some of them actually go home, and they get 3 or 4 hours sleep uninterrupted. They just are able to let go and get that one time a month peaceful sleep. So she said, I had 2 children, and my children were healthy. They didn't have any social issues. We kind of breezed through raising children. She said, I know that's odd, but we did, and it just went so well. And then I heard about some parents, and I heard about the struggles, and my heart went out to the parents, and to tell you the truth, I knew nothing about children with autism, but they trained me, and the first night came, and it's one-on-one, one adult for every child, and they have about 30 to 35 children each week. And she said, the first night, they sat me down with a little boy with severe autism, and I had visions, she said. I was going to softly read to these children. I was going to ask them how they were, whatever it was. I had all these visions, and my child just sat there and rocked. She said, I didn't know what to do. Finally, I just sat there, because any little thing, I could tell it was agitating him. And I just sat there beside him. And I felt like I had let go of my Friday night. And I had let go of my comfort zone. And I stepped into this place where I didn't have a clue what to do, and I wasn't doing any good whatsoever. And an hour passed, and in an hour they kind of checked in with everybody, and she thought this was the time I need to make a switch. And she said to the little boy, you know, I think it's time, probably. It seems like you might want somebody else. And I'll go on, and we'll bring in somebody new, and all of that sort of thing, because she felt she'd finish up this night and she'd leave. And she said, at that point of having let go of all knowledge and all security in any sense of what to do, when she told that little boy she was about to get up, and just as she was about to stand up, he reached out his hand and he grabbed her by the wrist. And she looked at his eyes, and she said it was as if the eyes said, you're doing exactly what I need. I just need somebody right here beside me, saying nothing, just being me. And she said, at that moment, I knew I was coming back the next week. She said, I knew it'd be. The woman became a spiritual trapeze artist. She learned the art of holding on in life. She learned the art of letting go. And she experienced what it was like to be caught, to be held in that moment of feeling like she was free falling. By the way, place letting go in your life right now. God wants to catch you. And God is planning ways to catch you and to lift you to a new place as well. Jesus promises his disciples, the Spirit will come so that none will fall